Hey, this is Ryan of Happy Healthy Vegan. A big shout out to my moderator Peter for letting me know that the wonderful, loving, caring, sweet, and delightful anti-vegan bigot who's full of hate known as VD, and we're just going to refer to her as VD. She deserves no shout out. I don't want to give her channel any promotion because all she does is put out a bunch of toxic ad hominem attacks against vegans. And you can see here from this delightful thumbnail for this video about me, I have vegan brain deficiency. I didn't even know that was a thing. I'll look that up later medically, see if it's real. But anyway, her response video is to my video where I made an argument, a logical syllogism that concludes that humans not ought consume animals. So supposedly she thinks she debunked my argument. This should be lovely. I mean, I've never seen her display any reason, any kind of logical thinking ever. So this would just blow my mind if she just pulled this out of her, you know what. So anyway, I have not seen her video at all. We're going to kind of watch this live fresh with me. So let's just jump right in to see vegan brain deficiency and me debunked here. There might be a few ads, I'll cut those out.
Happy Healthy Vegan Ryan. He's formed the undeniable argument for veganism. No one can argue against this. I watched this whole video, and just for good measure, I watched it back twice just to make sure I understood that his argument is dumb. His argument is really, really dumb.
Okay, so yeah, when you respond to an argument, you just don't attack it with things like dumb. You actually need to provide evidence, like attack the premises, find some kind of invalid structure in my argument, which there's not. But anyway, let's see if she can actually provide anything of substance other than it's dumb or I don't like it or something like that. He's deficient in his brain. Let's see.
And really, really incomplete. But the way that he's talking in this video, it's like he wrote a paper and he's grading his own paper and he gives himself an A++.
Again, just more ad hominem attacks. Actually, here's what you need to do, VD. I'll give you a tip. I can tell you've never had any kind of course in critical thinking or philosophy. Like I said, you attack the premises, see if there's any hidden assumptions, any fallacies. But just to say it's dumb, I don't like the way he presented it, he thinks he's acting all smart, that doesn't count.
I give him a D-. Let's watch it and see what Ryan has to say. This is his undeniable argument for veganism as a philosopher.
The conclusion is very clear that humans...
Oh, and I do have him sped up a little bit, so sorry if that bothers you, sorry.
...humans ought not, should not be consuming and or exploiting animals.
Hey, this is Ryan of Happy Healthy Vegan. So on one of my recent live streams, some hater guy came and said, your arguments for veganism are weak. I laughed because I know I haven't ever made a proper argument for veganism. I even challenged him to produce for me one of these weak arguments I've made. Well, he ended up running. But anyway,
anyway.
Hello. Sorry, I just had a YouTube ad there. I'm gonna try to cut these out because you know, you don't want to see them. And anyway, let's continue
on. He's gonna give a rundown of his credentials.
Vegan YouTube channel since 2013, and before that, in the 90s, I got a bachelor's in philosophy and even went to a PhD program and dropped out of that. So yeah, it's been quite a while since I've done any.
Ryan got his degree. He knows everything, and he graded.
All right, so an ad hominem attack that I actually have an education in philosophy. Good job there.
His own paper. He said his paper.
I mean, this is what I expect. I just expect pretty much all ad hominem attacks, because that's her only move. Ad hominem means you're attacking the person, their character, traits about them, rather than addressing the substance of their argument.
Lines up, and he get an A++.
No, this argument takes the form of a syllogism, meaning the conclusion follows given the premises that precede it.
Listen, you'll see that the conclusion is not following the premises at all.
And what? Well, actually it does if the premises are all true and your argument is in a valid form as this one is. And yeah, check it out. Just run it past anyone who studied philosophy, or better yet, just run it through any large language model. It's a valid form of argumentation. So if that, what that means is if the premises are true and if the argument is in a valid form, the conclusion must be true. So let's see what she does. Let's see if she does anything more than just a bunch of ad hominem nonsense. One last goal I set for myself here was that I wanted my argument.
There's missing factors. That's why I would give him a D- on this paper that he's writing. It's verbal essay.
To be a missing factors. We haven't even got there yet. She's just jumping the gun, or she's just saying that. It's funny how she feels like she's in a qualified position to actually grade a philosopher's work, given I'm sure she's had zero training. I mean, talk about the Dunning-Kruger effect. I mean, this is off the charts. Unique work. I want to contribute a new novel argument for veganism, and I think I did here.
That's the last thing we all need. So he came up with all his bullet points right here.
The last thing we're on. Oh, bullet points. No, these are called premises. These are what grant the truth of the conclusion. So you'll need to show that my premise, just one. All you got to do is like toss one out, like show how one of my premises is obviously false. Let's see if she can do that. But she calls them bullet points. It shows she has no idea what she's talking about. She's totally out of her league trying to analyze philosophy or just a basic syllogism here. But let's jump right back.
And I want to try to make this video quick because he basically just reads his bullet points and it's really, really funny. So he's first of all, he was talking about this man named Khan. I guess he was a philosopher, and it's like he agrees with him one minute and then he disagrees with him the next. But anyway, Ryan says agents have inherent rights that protect their well-being. And he's saying agents are beings that they pursue goals, learn, and adapt to their environment. So animals are agents. Consuming animals entails treating them as mere resources rather than agents with their own interests. Treating an agent as a mere resource violates the agent's inherent rights. Therefore, humans ought not consume animals. Okay.
All right, so that's the argument. Good job for reading it correctly. And let's see what you can do. Can you disprove any one of these four premises? If so, you will have succeeded.
So let me tell you why I gave him a D minus. I would give him an F, but
oh, I got an F. Oh, I'm so hurt by this Dunning-Kruger philosophy professor.
He says agents have inherent rights that protect their well-being, and then he says this as though it's like some solid fact.
Well, let's see if she shows why I state this. I'm just not making the stuff. I'm not pulling this out of my butt. This goes back several hundred years to the philosophy of Immanuel Kant, deontology, ethics, for those of you that know what I'm talking about here. This is something that's not like just like taken lightly. It's one of the major branches of ethics: deontology, consequentialism, and virtue ethics. I mean, these are the heavy hitters here. So if you think you can debunk deontology, that's awesome. You'd be quite famous, VD. Let's see if your Dunning-Kruger skills are gonna work for you here.
If agents have, and let me let him, say it himself. Okay, the first point. He brings up Jordan Peterson randomly for some reason. Is that his name, Peterson?
So what you need to do right now, VD, I'm trying to help you. You should, if you really think you can debunk or disprove my first premise here, get to my discussion about Immanuel Kant, where he argued that all agents have inherent rights. So if you can debunk that, then yeah, you will toss out premise one, case closed, kudos to you. Let's see if you make any sort of effort to do that.
True. So let's start off with the first premise. Agents have inherent rights that protect their well-being. So I think I should start off by briefly discussing what agency means. It's one of the
goes into details about agency and how they make their own decisions and all that stuff like that. He says agents have rights that protect their well-being. If they had inherent rights, I don't think there's a such thing as inherent rights, honestly, but
well, yeah, I mean, yeah, humans have inherent rights. I think you would agree with that. If not, you'd get into some pretty dark philosophical waters that humans have no inherent rights. You'd be forced to conclude that, like, well, it's right to enslave people. It's right to murder people. I mean, it's not a road you want to go down. And I'm not criticizing her for not knowing that. It's her naivete, but she's so conceited, Miss Dunning-Kruger here. She has no idea where she's heading towards here. A breakdown of all ethics of all kind. Anyway, let's see what she says.
You got to prove that to me. If they had inherent rights to protect their well-being, then why would you even have to make this video? If they had it.
That's your argument? If animals had inherent rights, why am I making this video? Because they do have inherent rights. However, people are violating their inherent rights, just like humans have inherent rights. But human rights get violated all the time. Just because an agent has inherent rights doesn't mean those rights are being acknowledged and respected at all times. Is this the best you got to try to disprove premise one? This is an F attempt. If I can grade your attempt at debunking premise one, this is an F. That's your argument.
Inherent rights that protects their well-being. Obviously, they don't have those inherent rights. Okay, you think they should.
Nope, you didn't prove that at all. No, good try. No, horrible try, actually.
That's really what you're trying to say, okay? And then his next bullet point.
I saw her there just like forward past the whole discussion of Immanuel Kant's argument how agents have inherent rights. But yeah, if you don't understand what he said there, you're not going to understand my whole premise. It hinges on deontology, but you're just going to skip over that and just say, well, if animals had inherent rights, why are you making a video about it? You know, that's not a refutation, not even close.
Point was animals are agents. They pursue goals, learn, and adapt to their environments. Okay, maybe I'll give him a D for that, for one point that, I feel like is not inaccurate. Then he starts showing these animals some, oh, they're so intelligent, they do things, and they learn and adapt to their environments. And then you bring
Why are you making fun of animals having intelligence? Does that insult you? Are you threatened that like this chimp here is probably not too far off away from your level of intelligence, VD?
up this chimpanzee, this AI chimp, digging out termites and eating them. It seems like the termites also had a goal and intentions and all that when they built this mound, and you got a Godzilla out there picking them off one by one. What? Then he's like, oh, they're
You missed the whole point. The whole point is that to show that non-human animals have agency. We're not talking about morality right now. We're trying to establish the fact, the true fact about reality, that agency belongs not only to humans, but to animals as well.
animals are so smart, they know how to use tools, and the crows know how to solve puzzles or whatever. Okay, consuming animals entails treating them as mere resources rather than agents.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we are clear. She has not disproven either of the first two premises. So now we're moving on to premise 3.
With their own interests. Okay, if you say so. And then lastly, he says, treating an agent as a mere resource violates their inherent rights. Therefore, humans ought not consume animals. Okay, so let me give you a rundown of why I think Ryan deserves an F on this paper. You will notice, Ryan, that you
This will be cute. Let's see what she has to say.
think you covered all your bases, but you didn't. You said that agents have inherent rights. Well, you didn't really even prove that, first of all.
You skipped right over my discussion about that. I stated the premise and I discussed this for like 2 or 3 minutes, how this follows from Kant's deontology. So you didn't address that in the slightest bit. So how can you say you disproved the first premise?
You did not prove that. You didn't even show a resource from Kant that mentioned the word rights and saying that these rights were allegedly inherent. That was your own made up thing.
No, it was all in the Immanuel Kant discussion, which you conveniently forwarded over. Like, how convenient, BD? Are you being honest here?
You can say animals are agents. That's fine. You can get.
Okay, I'm glad you agree with premise 2. That one's a pretty hard one to disprove. I could see how you have trouble with premise 1. That's probably the most deeply philosophical one. And I tried to explain that as clearly as I could, but convenient for you, you skipped over the whole part where I explained how this follows from deontology. This is as follows.
15 points for that. I think he wrote, consuming animals entails treating them as mere resources rather than agents with their own interests.
Oh, okay, let's see if you have a problem with this one, because this one just seems on the face of it just a true premise. But let's see if you have any. I can't imagine how someone like you, who's so totally fine and cool with animal cruelty and exploitation, you'll probably disagree with this, right? Let's see what she says.
I actually think that's accurate, but the reason why you get points off for this because it doesn't tie into your conclusion. Treating an agent as a mere resource violates the agent's.
No, it all ties together. Can you see how each premise flows into the next and leads to the conclusion? No. Okay, anyway.
Inherent rights. Then for some reason, in your conclusion, you bring the word humans in and you separate humans from the animals. All your previous bullet points did not mention the word humans one time.
Oh my God, are you serious? Look at premise 3. Consuming animals entails treating them as mere resources. Of course, did I need to say humans right there? I mean, I guess, yeah, you did point out a subtlety of how I could have phrased my words here to make it even more clear and more strong, and that's what I strive to do. I don't try to make my arguments all word salady like Jordan Peterson. That's why I showed him earlier. I strived for clarity, non-ambiguous wording here. So yeah, who do you think I'm talking about? And purposely, honestly, VD, this is such bad faith. We're talking about the way humans treat animals as resources. I mean, this is just an obvious fact, such an obvious fact. Yeah, I can see why I omitted the word humans, because it's plainly obvious to anyone who's being honest and has an IQ higher than that of a
distinct from the animals. Seems like you should write Agents have inherent rights that protect their well-being because I said so. Animals are agents for blah 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 reasons. Humans consuming animals entails treating them as mere resources rather than an agent with their own interests. Okay, that would be true. Humans treating an agent as a mere resource violates that agent's alleged inherent rights that I said exist because they said so.
Well, and also, premise 4, we're talking about humans once again. Who is treating an agent as a mere resource? Humans. Yeah, but just because I didn't say the word humans, it doesn't follow that throwing the word human into the inclusion is some kind of trick or something like that. That's what that's exactly who I'm referring to in premise 3 and 4. I can't imagine any reasonable person read through his argument thinking I'm not talking about humans. I mean, if you think I'm talking about something else, please comment down below. I'd love to hear what you think about it. Like aliens from Z-Box 7. Like, what do you think?
Therefore, humans ought not consume animals. Okay, there you go. Because I said so, because I think they have agency, because I said so. Why is the word humans not featured in any of your previous bullet points?
I just told you, if you don't understand this, I mean, there's no point discussing, like, who do you think I'm talking about? Honestly, this is such a bad faith thing to say. I mean, it is. I can't even, it's just such bad faith to say, like, I don't have humans in the premises. I mean, of course, I'm referring to humans. It's plainly obvious. I showed in premise 3, I showed images of animal exploitation by humans, like, factory farming, how the animals are kept in cruel, exploitative conditions their whole lives. I am showing how humans treat animals. Again, such bad faith to say, oh, I had no idea. He's not talking about humans. This is an F response here, VD. Absolutely. You'd be laughed out of any philosophy class. Anyway, I think I've seen enough here. I don't need to give her any more attention than I already have. And, look at this ad hominem attack again on me and her thumbnail. I mean, like, let's just say my argument were horrible or something like that, and she could shred it philosophically, which didn't even come close to happening. How do you justify saying vegan brain deficiency on your thumbnail? It just shows you what a bad faith person she is. That's all she can do, is just say things about people's appearances, accuse them of being deficient and sick because they don't eat meat or whatever. I mean, that's your only trick, VD. So let me give you a helping hand here for your next video for me to show that I'm deficient or about to die, because I'm about to become 15 years vegan in a couple weeks here. Let me give you a great thumbnail that you can just freeze, and you don't have to freeze it. I'll just give it to you right now. You can make up some crazy crap about how not eating meat has caused me to look like... Did you get that? Let me give you one more. All right, so be creative. I'm going to grade you on creativity on your next video about me. So I'm giving you that free image there. Just have at it. Make up some bullshit nonsense about how veganism, not eating animal products made me look like that, and I'm messed up and going to die or something like that. So anyway, guys, leave your questions and comments down below. What you think of VD's attempt here to try to grade an argument that she didn't understand whatsoever. And anyway, just let me know your thoughts down below. Hit like if you like this video, share it, and if you really thought VD is a philosophical titan, and we should listen to her wise words, please come to my next live stream. And you can come too, VD, and try to defend your case here. Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Just be relatively civil, and we can probably have a little discussion. So until then, guys, I'll see you Friday. Remember, it doesn't suck being vegan.